According to Julian Robinson, he would like to see more spending from the government to stimulate the economy. Opposition spokesman on finance Julian Robinson believes that the budget which was announced by the government last Thursday is too conservative to assist with the growth and development of the Jamaican economy, which has been contracting because of the effects of the pandemic. Recently, Julian Robinson mentioned that the budget, which is for the fiscal year 2021 to 2022, will result in a slow recovery for the economy and will take a longer period of time for the government to achieve the debt to GDP targets. He believes that the budget is going to be insufficient to generate the economic growth and recovery that the country needs. We have had a contraction in the economy of anywhere between 10 to 12% of our GDP, and it requires a greater injection on the part of the government to stimulate demand that can lead to more economic growth. The opposition spokesperson on finance said that the government could have been more ambitious with its spending plan. Robinson further went on to state that he is aware that the government is concerned about our targets, or debt to GDP ratio, but what has happened? The deterioration in that target is slowing as a result of not more debt, but the reduction in GDP. So the primary imperative at this time has to be to grow the GDP. According to Robinson, a stimulus should be provided to businesses, especially the smaller ones, which he said are on the brink of collapsing because of the economic issues that the island is currently encountering. He said that some businesses had not benefited from the CARE program that the government had initiated in 2020. During the beginning of the pandemic, the government targeted different sectors of the society, including businesses and individuals who were impacted financially by the pandemic. Robinson stated that another way to stimulate the economy is to provide an injection of capital for the vulnerable in the society, as data state that food insecurity in the island has doubled in the last year, which he said is the highest increase in the region. Jamaicans are suffering. There needs to be a greater injection to deal with the most vulnerable, and dealing with the most vulnerable also makes good economic sense because they will spend their money, which increases the demand for food, increases the demand for agriculture and other services. Opposition leader and president of the People's National Party, Mark Golding, has declared that the credibility of the pandemic portal is under question. The opposition leader stopped short of calling for the plug to be pulled on the application, even as the government continues to defend its integrity. His declaration comes hours after it had been revealed that another alleged security issue associated with the pandemic application had been uncovered, just days after its developer sought to reassure the public that the application was safe. According to Golding, Jamaica demands accountability. He is calling for the government to publish the engagement contract between themselves and the developer. He is asking if there is a $US fee per user for this free portal, and he's asking who owns the data. It was also mentioned that a researcher found that a file was left on the server which reportedly exposed passwords to access back-end systems such as databases and mail servers which are connected to the pandemic application. The researcher was not named, as there is no fear that the Jamaica government could go after these persons who are exposing the security flaws. It had been discovered that a server hosting aspects of the application was left unprotected and its content could be publicly accessed. Last week, the Minister of National Security, smarting from the embarrassing ordeal which had placed the spotlight on the security of the application, said it had opened a serious investigation into the matter, although it had shed little details on its ongoing investigation. It is understood that the developer's chief executive was made aware of the second security issue, and the issue was rectified shortly after. Up to late last week, the group had strongly defended the integrity of the application, which was given to the government. They said that they were confident that this was a completely isolated occurrence. The new security flaw brings into question declarations last week by another entity that there was no current vulnerability with the pandemic application. In a statement that was published They had said that an assessment was done by a leading international cybersecurity provider, which indicated that there were no further vulnerabilities that could lead to further data breach or exposure. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about the matters that have been discussed in this session. Have a wonderful day. Remember to take excellent care of yourself. Goodbye.